That connects to the thing that you and I made together, which is the amplify coin.
Yes.
Which is the idea that it's also a Nietzsche phrase of sort of loving everything that happens to you, not resenting it, not fighting against it, not carrying around a grudge or a burden, but sort of embracing it and finding the good in it.
Yeah.
Where does that fit in with our human nature?
It doesn't fit in because it's not natural to us. Our natural frame, our natural starting position is when something bad happens, why me? To feel sort of a grievance, to feel that things aren't fair, to feel that other people aren't giving you what you want or what you deserve. We start from a position of feeling kind of sorry for ourselves.
Right.
We deserve more than what we're getting. And so a lot of what I'm talking about in this book is overcoming some of these natural elements of human nature and turning them around and using them for another purpose. And amorphati is very powerful in that you train yourself to accept everything that happens. It's sort of a banality to say that things happen for a reason. There's some truth to it. For Nietzsche, it was, this is life. Life involves pain. Life involves adversity. You're going to die one day and it's not going to be pleasant. Your friends and family members, they're going to die one day and it's not going to be pleasant. You're going to have failure in life. People are going to hurt you. But that is life. That's what it is. So to resist that, to be angry about that, means to not love life itself. I talk about Anton Chekhov, the Russian writer, who's to me one of the great icons for this book. And he had a horrifying childhood. His father beat him every single day, never even knowing why he beat him. They grew up in poverty. His father abandoned the family when he was young. He had nothing in life, and he lived in this miserable small town, the most miserable town in Russia you can imagine. And one day he decided, in the depths of his misery, after he was left alone in this town to look after himself at the age of 16, he said, I want to not feel this burden by all of these bad feelings towards other people. I'm going to start thinking that my father can't help himself, that he was born a serf, and he's been bred to be this awful person. And my mother can't help herself, my siblings, it's just human nature. I'm going to accept them, and I'm going to love them for who they are. And he felt this insane wave of freedom. He was free of all his own negative emotions that were burdening him day in and day out. And it changed the course of his life.
Sun Tzu wrote that in every battle is won or lost before it is ever fought. And basically what he meant was, something is going on in the mind, the strategy itself, that is either right or wrong. And by the time you arrive for battle, you've either won or you've either lost. But the battle he's referring to is the battle in your mind. If your mind is filled with all kinds of ideas from the past, if you repeat the same formulas which you've used again and again, you have already lost the war. If on the other hand, you try this other approach and you ground yourself in this idea of do not fight the last war, which I maintain is the foundation of all solid strategic thinking, you have already won the war before it even happens.
I think of Leonardo da Vinci, who had a quote at the end of his life saying, after you've worked really hard during the day, you've toiled at something, you go to sleep and you have this great feeling like you accomplished something. But when you die, do you have that same feeling? Like, I did something, I accomplished something, now I can die in peace. And I think the worst thing in life would be to reach the age of 60, 65 and go, God, I could have been so much more. I could have created something. I could have done what I said I was going to do. I could have written that book, but I didn't. To me, I tell everybody, if you're in your 20s, don't ever have that feeling. And it'll come quicker than you imagine. Realize that you want to reach that end with a sense of, I did what I felt I could do when I was a child. I had these dreams and I reached them.
There's a quote of this French philosopher, Baron de Montesquieu, a political philosopher from the 18th century that I kind of like, and it goes as follows. We have 3 educations in our life. The first is from our parents, the second is from our schoolmasters, and the third is from the world. And the third education contradicts all that we learn from the first 2. And basically, what it means is you go and you learn all of these skills and all these very important things at the university, but essentially
The years that follow, what I'm going to call your apprenticeship, requires a different way of thinking. The rules are completely different. It's not the same. In fact, many of the things that you learn and many of the habits that you learn early in your life are actually the wrong kinds of things that are going to help you, that you need in this path towards mastery that I'm drawing.
From Marcus Aurelius that's related is look at things as they are. So you're drinking wine, think of the grapes being crushed. You're having olive oil, think of the olives being crushed. I don't remember what the other examples were.
It's a little, this is I think one of the reasons people think it's kind of depressing is like, this is a dead pig, this is a dead bird.
Well, yeah, but that's what the food that you're eating, you know.
Sure.
You know, that's a lot of the sublime because you're walking around in your world and you're kind of sleepwalking.
Yeah.
You're not paying attention to things and you're not really seeing things as they are. So you're drinking your orange juice from some plastic bottle. You're not aware of the oranges or the process or what people went through. I mean, I know that if you were, that may not be that exciting, so that's maybe not the best example. But being aware of where things come from, of what they are, of what their true nature is, you know, that's sort of what how the children think, because they're constantly curious. They just don't assume that something just came into the world the way it is. They want to know how and they want to know why. So you live in a world where you're surrounded by things that exist that kind of, you don't really know where they come from or what makes them so interesting. And you're not paying attention to it.
We're here to win. Subscribe or get left behind.